Civilization 3 is the greatest game of all time, and it is very cheap. They're just giving this game away. And you're going to learn how to play it today. Civ 3 is a lot like chess. It is very easy and simple, simpler even than Civ 1 and Civ 2. But like chess, you actually have to know what's going on, or your computer rival will just absolutely stomp and humiliate you. You cannot play just based on vibes. This is not Civilization 6. Both are fantastic games, but this one is different. Each civilization has a unique unit and 2 traits out of 8 possible possibilities. These traits offer bonuses as you play the game. Expansionist is weak on maps without much land, and Seafaring is better on bigger maps with more water. Agricultural is the best of the bunch by a decent margin, but there is no bad trait. All of them are quite strong. Pick what you want. These are considered standard game rules. Make sure to turn this option off. It is broken. Here is a set of preferences that I'd recommend for first-timers. Here's the game. You have units on a map. If you see the buttons at the bottom, you can click them and do all the actions. There are also hotkeys that can do all of these actions. You should learn the hotkeys. Here are some important ones on the screen right now. You begin with a settler. Settlers create cities. You do that with the B key. Okay, let's get into the stuff that you absolutely need to remember. If you zoned out for the past 40 seconds and have only now just snapped back to reality, that's chill. Let's get this part down. There are some numbers next to your city. This number is your city's population. How many citizens live there? This number is how long until it grows. Growth means adding a citizen. So when that happens, what's going to happen to this number? Yeah. It's going to go up by 1. This number is how long until it produces the thing that it is working on. When it reaches 0, production will complete. Looking inside the city, we have the food box. You see on the map our citizens are drawing food from the tiles, and we're also getting food from the city's center. Each turn, each citizen eats 2 food. Any extra food is added to the box. When the box fills, the city will grow. We also have the shield box. This is production, like hammers in the later Civ games. You see, on the map, our citizens are drawing shields, just like they're drawing food. Shields get added to the box every turn. When this box fills, production completes. Crucially, in Civ 3, you can swap around production without penalty. So if you're building a settler, and you change your mind halfway through, you actually want to build an intercontinental ballistic missile, that is completely fine. All of the shields, the production you've accumulated, will go to that instead. You are also drawing commerce from your tiles. That commerce is split between science, happiness, and your treasury. The percentage split is 1 uniform rate for every citizen in your empire. You set that rate in the domestic advisor. You can press F1 to get to that screen. Got it? Again, none of this stuff is that difficult, but you need to know it, especially the part about citizens. Go watch that again if it didn't click. It's going to come up again in the video. Okay, first decision you'll make is what to do with your worker. You can build roads. Roads triple your movement speed, and they give +1 commerce. That's a great effect for practically no cost. I hope you're hungry, because you're going to be cooking up some road spaghetti. Eventually, you will want a road on every single tile in your empire. If it's 1500 AD, and you have random tiles near your core cities that don't have roads, a puppy will die. Your worker can also irrigate. Irrigating gives +1 food. You can only do that next to fresh water or next to another irrigated tile. So if you want to irrigate but there's no fresh water, you just need to chain it over. These irrigation chains can pass through cities. Your worker can build a mine. Mines give +1 shield, +2 if they're on a hill or mountain. Tiles cannot have both mines and irrigation. Choose one or the other. You can also chop forests and wetlands. Do that if they're in your way, but it is lower on your priority list. That's all. Those are all the worker actions you need to know. Basically, road everywhere. And the biggest question is, should I mine or should I irrigate? If you're new, I'd say follow the mine green, irrigate brown rule. So mine grassland, irrigate plains and desert. This avoids the despotism penalty, except for a couple cases with bonus resources. Oh, and the despotism penalty. Read this right here. Until you switch into a different government, you'll have this penalty, and it can make the yields from your tiles a bit hard to learn and understand at first. Reading the penalty explains the penalty, but depending on how many crayons you've eaten in the past month, this might be difficult to grasp. Yeah! But just know you can avoid it by irrigating low food tiles and by mining grassland tiles. Once you exit despotism, the penalty is gone. You can irrigate grassland if you want. I'd recommend irrigating your bonus grasslands once you switch governments. Bonus grasslands are these tiles here. They give an extra shield, so an extra point of production. They're pretty strong. You need to choose a technology to research. Pottery for granaries is good, or ironworking if you want to fight, but usually we go for philosophy. The first civ to discover philosophy gets a free bonus tech, and the middle techs in the tree are generally easy to trade to the AI. Trading is important. Contact other civs and trade techs aggressively. In order to do this, the first items that you'll want to build are units to explore with, build warriors or kuras, and spam them in all directions. Civ 3 has the biggest maps and the coolest map generation. You're gonna love exploring. Pop goody huts and focus on finding other civs. Get other techs from them, get gold, and in the mid-game, it is especially important to secure luxury resources through trade. Do not forget this. Also, defend your cities a bit. 1 or 2 warriors in every city is fine. They also provide military police, which is happiness. Do not bother with spearmen unless somebody is actually at war with you. As soon as your city reaches a population of 3, you should finish producing a settler. Quick, how do you know the population of a city? I told you this would come up again. It's the big number right here. Settlers reduce the population of a city by 2, but Civ 3 is all about rapid expansion. It's like playing dots and boxes. The real game doesn't start until you've set up the map. If you don't like that, try playing an island map where you spawn alone. You could also play a small map, then the expansion phase is over sooner. Do not play a big map, or reduce the number of AI opponents. If you don't like the settler spam, this will make the problem worse, and it will also mess up the game in other ways. Top priority for city placement are cities near bonus food tiles, especially if they have high production. Place cities on freshwater, rivers, or lakes. This is very important. Coastal cities are good. Luxury resources aren't needed immediately, but make sure that you get them before the AI does. As you spam settlers, you're going to notice that these new cities are kind of crappy eventually. These crappy cities should build workers. If the city grows in 10 turns and produces a worker in 10 turns, that's a good city to build a worker in. How do we tell when a city's going to grow? Yeah, you got it. That's this number right here. Good. Workers are not as important as settlers, but once your settlers start coming out, workers are the next most important thing. Aim to have about 1 or 1.5 workers for every city in your empire. In Civ 3, culture basically does very little. You only really need 10 culture for the first border expand. You will get that later from libraries, the science building. Don't waste time building temples during the expansion phase. Settlers, workers, and military units are what you want, although you can build a couple granaries during the expansion phase, and maybe even a wonder. Once the expansion phase is almost done, you can just start building whatever you want. All of the wonders are varying degrees of good. Mess around, find the ones you like. Buildings are also important. Here is a tier list of buildings in Civ 3. The S-tier buildings are the aqueduct, the barracks, the marketplace, the library, and the harbor. The A-tier buildings are the granary, the courthouse, the university, and the factory. A great idea is to build a few barracks and start building offensive units. This is especially important if you are boxed in, or if you don't have iron or horses. Rush someone with archers, horsemen, or swordsmen. Upgrading warriors into swordsmen is a very powerful strategy if you have the iron and gold for it. Combat is straightforward. Attack the enemy using a stack of units that have a high attack value. Commit fully to the war. Bring your whole offensive army to the front line and build military units in most cities. Don't leave half your cities building courthouses and then wonder why your enemy has not been crushed beneath your heel. Remember the golden rule. Bombardment units like catapults, artillery, and bombers are also strong, although they can be a bit slow, and you need to have a lot of them before their benefit becomes obvious. Do not bother with naval units, they are only useful for exploration and for moving units around, although make sure to find nearby islands and colonize them with settlers. Civ 3 is generally a balanced game when it comes to units, civilizations, and buildings, and wonders too. There's one exception to this though. The governments are not balanced at all. Most are bad. Communism is solid. Republic is god tier. So, to be good at this game, you need to at least try playing Republic, even if you don't use it perfectly. Let's walk through how it works. The despotism penalty is gone. You have no military police now. In despotism, the first 2 units in a city will produce a happy face. In Republic, that bonus doesn't exist. To solve happiness in Civ 3 then, you will use 2 main devices. Secure luxuries by settling them or trading for them. F2 brings up the trade advisor and shows who can trade you luxuries. Combined with the marketplace building, luxuries become disgustingly strong. 6 or 7 should fix all of your nation's happiness problems in peacetime. If you can't get luxuries, use the happiness slider. Don't be scared of having this at 10 to 40%, although make sure to lower it as soon as you don't need the happiness anymore. Republic has a corruption level of nuisance. Corruption is the anti-snowball mechanic in Civ 3. What it means is that each city that you build is more corrupt than the last, and cities are more corrupt if they are further from the capital. Corruption means that your cities will lose a percentage of their commerce and shields as high as 90%. This is a big, annoying buzzkill, but it is essential to the balance of the game. Anyway, Republic is less corrupt than most other governments. The difference isn't huge, but you'll have a few more cities with solid science and production. Republic has the commerce boost effect. It gives +1 commerce to all tiles that have at least 1 commerce already. If you've built roads on all your tiles, that should be all of them. This is easily a 60% boost to your empire's commerce. When you factor in maintenance costs, this basically doubles your net commerce. This is an insane boost, and it is worth all of the other downsides, since those other downsides can be mitigated. The first downside is war wariness. This only kicks in if you start losing stuff. Units a bit, but especially cities. So fight short, decisive wars, and this won't really be a problem. And there's unit support. This is the number of units that exist in your empire for free, without you needing to pay gold every turn to support them. F3 brings up the military advisor, who will show you your limit. In Republic, if you exceed the cap, you pay 2 gold per turn, per unit, which can be quite expensive. So, as soon as you switch, you need to make some big changes. Disband all of your warriors, build strong units like swordsmen or knights. Stronger units means that you can have fewer units, and fewer units means less gold cost every turn. Secondly, you want to raise the unit support cap. You get 1 unit support for each town, which is not enough. And you get 3 for every city, which is usually enough to support your workers and a decent army. A city is a settlement with a population of 7, so you need to grow your cities to size 7. If you can't reach that number, you will have crippling unit support costs. This means that you actually need to understand what is going on in your cities. What are the things that are stopping them from growing? I told you, this is a simple game, but you actually need to know what's going on under the hood. This city doesn't have enough irrigation. This city needs a harbor for the extra food from coastal tiles. This city wasn't planted on fresh water, so it needs an aqueduct to hit size 7. This one is unhappy. A citizen is set as an entertainer, which stops civil disorder, but that citizen is not assigned to a tile, so it's eating 2 food per turn without producing any food. These are all problems you would want to fix anyway. You want to trade for luxuries anyway. You want to be fighting short, decisive wars regardless. You want high population cities because then you work more tiles and get more production and commerce. Republic's unit support system just gives you a second incentive for doing that. This is essential to the philosophy of the game. In Civilization 6, the game will give you a little bonus if you build 2 biplanes or if you plant a city on another continent. You are rewarded for playing the game in a way that is interesting. Civilization 3 only rewards you if you play well. These are 2 phenomenal games, but learning them will feel very different. Steam Power gives railroads, which makes it the strongest tech in the game. Get coal and iron, trade for it, conquer it, plant a city on top of it inside enemy lands. I don't care whose nose you have to bite off, get iron and coal, and build a railroad on every single tile in your empire. One last note about trade. Civ 3 is all about trade. I mentioned luxuries, but later on in the game, especially higher difficulties, the AI will offer you thousands of gold for technology. Wheeling and dealing is very important in this game, and to do that, you need to keep your trade reputation intact. Do not break a 20-turn commitment. Otherwise, the AI will not accept these commitments in the future, because if you promise them, say, iron for 20 turns in exchange for chemistry, they think you're going to stop shipping the iron over, keep the tech, and screw them over again. This damage to your reputation is permanent. There are a few 20-turn deals you might accidentally break. The first would be peace treaties. You cannot fight that civ again for 20 turns, although I think a white peace might be the exception. Resources, too. You need to make sure that the resource continues to get to that other civ for 20 turns if you commit it to them. If they lose their only harbor and the route gets cut, the game counts that as you screwing them over, so be careful when making these commitments. And finally, military alliances. If you make a military alliance, you're on the hook for 20 turns, or until your ally makes peace with that civ. You can offer gold per turn in exchange for things, but only up to your surplus every turn that you see in the bottom right. You can increase this number by turning down your science slider, and then by turning it back up again when the deal is done. There are also a few other minor topics that you're going to run into that aren't worth their own section. I'll put them on screen right now. And that is Civilization 3 in a nutshell. This game has infinite replay value. You're going to have the time of your life. Your husband or wife is going to be happy about all the money that you're going to save, not buying other forms of entertainment. The final step to getting good is to receive feedback on your save files. This is the file path for Civ 3 on Steam. Join the Discord linked below and post save files or pictures of your games there. People, including myself, will give you advice on how to progress. Take care, guys. See you next time. Cheers.